You know how everyone has that one house in their neighborhood that gives them the creeps? Well, ours was the old abandoned mansion at the end of the street. This mansion, it wasn't your ordinary rundown property. No, it was a place that harbored an ominous presence, a dark aura that seemed to cling to the very bricks and mortar that held it together. This place had a reputation that was constructed brick by brick, story by story, by the whispers of the locals. It was the kind of place that parents would use as a cautionary tale to keep their children in line. Stay away from the old mansion, they'd say, or else. For years, I'd pass by that mansion, my heart pounding in my chest, a shiver running down my spine. The sight of its broken windows, the overgrown garden that looked more like a jungle, the paint peeling off the walls like old scars. It all painted a picture of a place forgotten by time, yet remembered by fear. There was something about that mansion that drew me in. Maybe it was the sense of mystery, the stories that were left untold. Or perhaps it was the thrill of the unknown, the adrenaline rush that comes with fear. But deep down, I knew that it was my curiosity, my desire to know the truth behind the rumors. Every night I'd lay in bed, the image of the mansion burned into my mind. The silhouette of its towering structure against the moonlit sky, the creaking of the rusty gate in the wind, the shadows that seemed to dance on the walls. It was a haunting lullaby that both terrified and intrigued me. As time went on, my fear slowly turned into fascination. The mansion wasn't just a creepy place anymore. It was a puzzle waiting to be solved, a story waiting to be told. And I was eager to uncover its secrets. But one day, my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to explore the mansion. The thought was both thrilling and terrifying, like standing on the edge of a precipice. Little did I know, this decision would lead me down a path of chilling discoveries and unsettling truths. The mansion's entrance was as imposing as the stories around it. It was like stepping into another world. A world where time seemed to have stood still, where the air was heavy with the weight of unspoken stories. The grandeur of the mansion was apparent in its ornate details, yet it was shrouded in an eerie silence that whispered of long-forgotten tales. Each step echoed through the vast, high-ceilinged foyer, a testament to the mansion's age. The wooden floor beneath my feet creaked, groaning under the burden of years. The once vibrant wallpaper was now faded and peeling, its pattern barely distinguishable under layers of dust and cobwebs. Every corner was a testament to the passage of time, untouched and unaltered, like a snapshot from a bygone era. The mansion's air was thick with a musty smell, the kind that clings to old books and forgotten places. It was almost as if the mansion was breathing, inhaling and exhaling the centuries it had witnessed. The silence was deafening, broken only by the distant drip of water from a leaky pipe, or the faint rustle of an unseen presence. As I ventured deeper into the mansion, the atmosphere grew denser. Shadows danced on the walls, playing tricks on my eyes, making me question what was real and what was a figment of my imagination. The mansion was a labyrinth, a maze of rooms and hallways that twisted and turned in unpredictable ways. It was easy to get lost in its winding corridors, each one leading to another mystery. The mansion was not just a building. It was a living, breathing entity, holding its breath, waiting for its secrets to be discovered. The further I ventured, the more I felt the mansion's pulse, a rhythm that seemed to sync with my own heartbeat. It was as if the mansion was alive, watching me, drawing me further into its depths. Then, just when I thought I'd seen it all, I stumbled upon something unexpected. A door, a locked door. It stood there, an enigma, a challenge. It dared me to unlock its secrets, to venture into the unknown. As I ventured deeper into the mansion, I stumbled upon a locked door. There was something about that locked door that sent chills down my spine. It was a silent sentinel, a barrier to the unknown, cloaked in an aura of mystery and dread. Its cold iron handle resisted my touch, as if warning me of the peril that lay beyond. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum echoing in the void. I could feel the icy fingers of fear creeping up my spine as I reached out to the door, my hand trembling. The door was stubborn, unyielding, like it was guarding a secret it was not ready to reveal. Then, I heard it. A faint, almost inaudible sound, like the soft murmur of a distant conversation. It was coming from the other side of the door. I strained my ears, but the sound was elusive, dancing just out of reach. The silence that followed was deafening. The quiet was so thick you could slice it with a knife. Suddenly I noticed something strange. The shadows in the room seemed to be moving, undulating like dark waves in an ocean of dread. They danced and swirled, coalescing into ominous shapes that seemed to watch me with unseen eyes. Then, as quickly as they appeared, they melted away, retreating into the dark corners of the room. I shook my head, trying to shake off the growing sense of unease. I told myself it was just my imagination, a trick played by my anxious mind. But the door was real. Its cold presence was a tangible reminder of the unknown that lay beyond. I tried the handle again, this time with more force. The door groaned in protest but remained steadfast. My heart was a wild drum in my chest, echoing the rhythm of my growing fear. I could feel a cold sweat breaking out on my forehead, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. And then it happened. The room fell into an unnatural silence. The shadows stilled, as if holding their breath. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears, and then suddenly the door creaked open. The room was shrouded in darkness, but what I could make out in the dim light was enough to make my heart pound. The air was thick, heavy with a sense of foreboding that sent a chill down my spine. As my eyes adjusted to the gloom, I could see shapes forming, shapes that hinted at a history I wasn't sure I wanted to uncover. A chair, its wood worn and creaking, sat in the corner like a forgotten sentinel. Against one wall, a bookshelf leaned precariously, its shelves groaning under the weight of dust-covered tomes. Each one looked as if it hadn't been touched in decades, their stories lost to the passage of time. In the center of the room, a large, imposing table stood. Scattered across its surface were artifacts that made my blood run cold. A collection of old, faded photos, their subjects staring into the camera with lifeless eyes. A set of antique surgical tools, their cold, metallic surfaces gleaming menacingly in the dim light. And in the middle of it all, a single, worn-out diary, its pages yellowed with age and stained with what I could only hope was coffee. As I moved closer, the air around me grew colder, the silence more oppressive. The diary seemed to call out to me, a beacon in the darkness, promising answers to questions I wasn't sure I wanted to ask. The pages were filled with scrawled handwriting, the ink faded but the words clear. It spoke of experiments, of dark rituals, of a past soaked in fear and despair. The more I read, the more the room seemed to close in around me, the shadows growing darker, the silence more deafening. I could feel it then, a presence in the room, a lingering echo of the horrors that had once taken place here. It was in the chill that clung to the air, in the eerie silence that seemed to swallow up every sound. It was a part of the room, a part of its very fabric, a silent testament to a past best left forgotten. Then I heard the door slam shut behind me. There I was, trapped in the very room that had haunted my nightmares. An eerie chill ran down my spine as the realization dawned upon me. I was inside the belly of the beast, encased in a chilling silence that seemed to echo my fear. I felt a cold wind sweep across the room, sending shivers down my spine. I started to look around, desperate for an escape. The room was small, with walls that seemed to close in on me. The darkness was all-consuming, swallowing the faint glimmers of light that dared to creep in. The door I had entered through was now locked, refusing to budge. I pounded on it, my heart echoing each thump with a frantic beat of its own. But the door stood indifferent, unyielding to my pleas. The room was devoid of any other exits, trapping me within its cold, unfeeling grasp. As the minutes ticked by, the room started to come alive. Shadows danced along the walls, whispering tales of past horrors. I could hear the faint rustle of fabric, the soft creak of furniture, the distant echo